This is the Transformers Generations Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock. The figure is part of the first wave of the Leader Class figures for the Studio Series of Transformers Generations figures. And boy, it is perhaps one of the best Grimlocks that, movie Grimlocks, that Hasbro and Takara Tomy have ever done, folks. I am just liking it. Before we begin, as always, here is a look at the packaging. Very nice artwork, and he's in the way. Number 7, there, Age of Extinction, obviously. That's where we first met this movie Grimlock. Here's the rest of the assortment, Blackout and Starscream. Okay, very nice. Nothing there, very nice. Okay, and then he comes with a diorama. This is, well, obviously the battle in China. You can stand him right there. Very, very cool. All right. Obviously, this is not his sword. I mean, he doesn't come with any weapons at all. This ball, this mace, is molded into his arm. So that's not the weapon. Not unofficial. This is not his weapon. This actually belongs, if you remember, if you still remember, Transformers Prime Predaking. So right off the bat, you can already see how accurate this figure is to the movie Grimlock. The color itself, just the color alone, man, this is how he looks like in the movie. Maybe he was a little bit lighter and some dark in some parts here and there. Could have been all metallic here and there, but most of the pieces that is on him has this wash, some silver paint and sort of scraping on it just to make it look weathered and all that. Very, very nice. I love it. It's so accurate. Shoulder, the Dinobot heads on the shoulder, the fangs here on his chest. And let's see a closer look at that. Look at that. The head sculpt. Oh my goodness. Can't beat that. I think this is Grimlock as we saw him in Age of Extinction. The horn is made of soft PVC materials. So is this one, just for safety issues. So are the teeth. This one, nope. This mace, nope. Hard plastic. Everything else hard plastic. So very, very cool. The color alone with the sculpt, fantastic. Okay, I do have some comments on it, some gripes, obviously. The lower part of the Dinobot head, the lower jaw, and the T-Rex arms are here. This is a nice way of folding up the cable. I just wish there was a way they could have compressed this even further with the arms connecting here or somewhere. And probably my biggest this is not a deal breaker for me. I'm just saying that, you know, if at all, if I'm going to nitpick about the sculpt, this is one thing I would point out to Hasbro. They've molded in that whole mace or spiked ball on his arm. I wish this was the removable weapon. I would have appreciated it had it been removable and it formed the tail. This obviously forms the tail, and they've sculpted it in. There could have been another way to do it. They could have made it removable, or just you fold it up here as a kibble, and then you would reveal the fist like this one. That it's not a deal breaker. Don't worry about it. But I just wish they could have improved that. This would have been a perfect figure. The Voyager Studio Series Optimus Prime is right here. Okay, it's about to his waist. At first glance, it kind of feels like they're in scale, but as I will show you later, they are not. And Hasbro, you know, you keep telling us that, oh, we've shrunk everybody because we're trying to make everybody in scale. Clearly, they are not in scale. I originally thought when I got them in packaging, hey, they kind of look like in scale because Optimus Prime was much shorter, definitely, than Grimlock. But after watching some of the pics and videos on YouTube of Grimlock, I've come to the conclusion that he is not in scale. All right, and here we go. As you can see, this is a screen capture of when the first time Optimus meets Grimlock. And as you can see, he is nowhere near that waistline of Grimlock as depicted right here. He is much shorter. And if you ask me, if you want a more scale accurate Optimus Prime, he should be something like this. Maybe a little bit taller, maybe a deluxe class, but definitely not the Voyager Studio Series that Hasbro claims to be in scale. Definitely not. And we are missing that lance, that sort of melee that he has with the spikes and all that, that long staff with another. We are missing that, and it's a shame that Hasbro couldn't include that with this leader class figure. Okay. All right. More scale, and as you can see, there is that ball mace on his right arm, and it's looking to be very accurate, but as you will see later on in the footage, he is just holding that ball and it extends to like a chain. So yep, we are missing that. And see how small Optimus is? That's why I'm actually very happy with the scale that this figure, this is the Optimus Prime pen, has. He should be just a little bit taller like that, and I think, you know, if you want a scale accurate Optimus, this is the one you want to get. Okay, right here you can clearly see the mace is on his left hand, and his right hand is right there. It's present right there. That's why I was mentioning a while ago that they could have done something to give him two fists instead of just one. And here clearly you can see he's got both hands and he's holding that staff with the mace, with the spike. But clearly one thing we've established is he's not in scale, definitely not. And Hasbro can say, well, he is a Revenge of the Fallen Optimus. Maybe we'll do a deluxe class Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime that will be in scale with him. Okay, we'll see Hasbro. But as it is, Optimus should be somewhere in this scale, in this size, to be in scale with Grimlock. All right, and here is a size comparison of the Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock with some other Leader Class figures. This is the Studio Series Leader Class Blackout, and this is the Premium Series Transformers the Movie, or Transformers 1 Leader Class Optimus Prime. And as you can see, he is a decent sized Leader Class figure. If you're going to be specific about it, he stands just above 9 inches tall, just a hair above 9 inches tall, almost just 9 inches and a little bit over 9 inches, while this Leader Class is about 9.25 inches tall. So yeah, you want a really big Leader Class in the Studio Series, the Grimlock, I think will satisfy those who want those bigger figures. Let's talk about articulation. The neck is on a ball joint. He's got ratcheting ball hinge shoulders. He's got bicep swivels, hinge elbow that you can. The arms are. It's sort of misleading because the arms are sort of curled in this position, and you'd think they bend this way, but they don't. They bend this way, all the way there. 90 degrees, good enough. He's got a waist swivel, and when I saw the waist swivel, and I saw that this was going to be the tail, and this was going to be part of the neck, and I was like, oh man, this is going to transform like Beast Wars Megatron. And sure enough, he does transform like Beast Wars Megatron, which is fine. I can't blame Hasbro for that, because it comes out as a better Dinobot mode compared to the original Age of Extinction Leader Class Grimlock. Okay, these pieces move. Well, these two because of transformation, yes, and even this one. This one loves to pop off. I don't know why. Maybe it was designed to do that so you don't break anything, but it does love to pop off. Okay, ball hinge, ratcheting ball hinge hips. He's got some thigh swivel, hinge knees, that, and ball hinge ankles, which you can have him in very dynamic poses. So very, very cool. I like it. The waist cape at the back and move up and down. And that's about it. That's it for articulation. He comes with a nice instruction manual. It's good enough, acceptable. let's transform him into his Dinobot mode, and this is a beast, pun intended. So let's start. Let's start with the arms. Fold them out this way, and rotate this way. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Same thing here. This one rotates this way, curves this way, and extends that way. That's the tail, and this is the Dinobot mode. Obviously, you probably have an idea of how things are gonna go. Okay, these, I love how they've done this. They've got two Dinobot Grimlock T-Rex Dinobot heads on his shoulders, and I thought that was great. That's service to the fans. I love it. Now I was like wondering, okay, where does the head go? This is obviously the real head. Where does this one go? And what's nice about it is Hasbro's decided to split that head, fold it down like that, and make it part of the tail. That to me was amazing. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, because it's got, you know, it's not flush and all that, but it's good enough. I like the two Dinobot heads on the shoulder, and that one was a great device they used. Okay, the neck, you have to fold down this whole piece, but you don't want to break the hinges. And my best way I've tried to do it is you stick your fingernail here, right there. There is a gap right there. You just stick your fingernail in. Just be careful. Don't break. You don't want to break a nail. Fold that down, because if you try pulling the head, it's very difficult. So do that. I've noticed it's easier to fold it back if you twist the neck a little bit to his left. Make him look a little bit to the left so that the horn has a space there. Fold the horn back like that, so that that whole assembly has some space to maneuver right there. And it'll be easier to fold that whole rib cage and chest pieces back in like that. Okay, so rotate here. What did I do? Okay. Oh, there it goes. This is probably the most difficult one to transform. It's the hips. And you got to pull it apart. Even when you're combining it, it can be a little bit difficult. What you have to do is pull it sharply, like that, and it will split up. Now, my biggest issue with that kind of transformation, as always, is there is these small pegs right here and right. Did I just break? Oh, I thought I broke it. Okay, right here. These two pegs, they go in there, and I'm guessing over time they will become brittle and break. And you know, I hate that. I hate that. You know, there are pieces like that, and that's been a pet peeve of mine for some of the Transformers we've seen back in the day, with very thin, small pegs that tend to break. But what can you do? Okay, so you have to sort of, there is a hinge right here. You got to twist. It doesn't tab in like that. It tabs it off to the side, so you got to twist this hinge right here, and then tab that hip piece right there, right here. There's a notch right there, a little bit angled. Don't forget to do that. Okay, so once you've done that, you're good. Okay, tab rest of the hips right there, and again, more of those small tabs that I guess will break over time, but okay, whatever, right? All right, before we do the legs, let's just finish off this jaw piece, and I thought this was one of the more difficult ones to transform. Do this, and it's supposed to clear that whole section, and it's not gonna clear this way. You gotta push this bicep and shoulder piece all the way in. I know it feels like it's gonna break, but let me just raise this so you can see it clearly, but it should fold that way, right there. Just a few millimeters more down that, and the fist should fit right in there under that neck. Okay, and then as you saw me do it, you lift that Dinobot head piece, and it's supposed to tab into those grooves right there. All right, so like that. Once you've done that, wow, look at that head sculpt. Absolutely incredible. Okay, the legs. You gotta do this. You gotta sort of bend it. The first time you do it, always very tight. Bend it back like that, and then bend the knee against the prone, against the way it's supposed to bend, and then tab it in like that, and that's it. Okay, rotate that whole foot like this, and then lock it in place with that toe spike. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's do the other leg. Hold on. Okay, again, break it off and do that, rotate, lock in place. Okay, now we're cooking. Okay, and then this piece, it just folds back naturally that way. The tail piece, or the waist cape, you fold it together like that and just let it rest like that. Okay, just like that. It doesn't tab into anything, it just stays right there. So, and then these pieces right here like this, but the instructions say to put it this way. Okay, so there you go. There is Grimlock, movie Grimlock in T-Rex dinosaur mode, and very, very nice indeed. Look at that. You get some details right here on this side where the chest and robot mode is. You get the rib cage. On the other side, you don't get as much. So it's got asymmetrical ribs. That's fine. Okay, again right here, very different from here and here. Again, fine. And you can get him in poses because the legs is also the robot legs, so you can get him into dynamic poses. The small dino hands can also move. They're on ball joints. The jaw can move, can close or open. That's pretty cool. You can add some fire effects there, I'm sure, if you want to. Hold on. Okay. And because it's an arm, you can twist the neck like that. So is this one. You can twist the tail. Okay. So all in all, it is a fantastic Dinobot mode, a great robot mode. I am just loving this Grimlock. And here is that pen Optimus Prime riding Grimlock, and I think it just looks perfect in scale. As you can see right here, Optimus is about he just covers barely the back of Grimlock's neck, and I think this is the perfectly scaled Optimus Prime. More Optimus Prime right here, as you can see. Fortunately, I don't have a sword that'll fit a 3mm or 2mm peg, and clearly you can see the head right here in proportion with the Optimus Prime figure. That's the best ratio I can see. Some final thoughts on the figure. I think it's great. I think it's one of the best movie Grimlock figures Hasbro or Takara Tomy has ever made. It beats the Voyager class, Age of Extinction Grimlock, definitely the Leader class Grimlock, or any other Grimlocks. I've not seen a third-party Age of Extinction Grimlock that can match this one, that transforms as nicely as this one and looks and feels as just like the movie Grimlock, both in robot mode and alt mode. I am clearly very, very impressed with this figure. It's not perfect, like I mentioned with the right arm, some kibble, but those are not deal breakers. The figure is going to get a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I love it, and I'm probably going to keep it. If you can find this one on retail, sure, but don't pay more than retail price for it. Out here in Manila, it costs about $70, $72, depending on where you buy it. But $70, I think, wow, it's a very, very steep price for a leader class figure, especially if you live in the US, because most leader class figures are $45 to $50. But a Takara Tomy leader class figure is about $68 to $70, and they're about in the same price range, and I think this is well worth that money. Again, like what I always say about the Studio Series figures, if you can afford to wait for it on clearance, that is probably the best advice I can give. They're pretty pricey, and you know, you probably have some form already of an Age of Extinction Grimlock, or a Last Night Grimlock, which is more color accurate, and you probably don't feel the need to buy this right away, and if you feel like eventually you'd want to get it, you can always wait for it in clearance, because 6 to 10 months from now, this guy will probably be half the price, and yeah, you can go get it. So once again, folks, I love it. It's a great figure. Well done, Hasbro and Takara Tomy. I hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Transformers Generations Studio Series Leader Class Grimlock. Thanks for watching.
That's Optimus Prime. Autobots, we charge together. Now roll out!
No. No. I don't think it's gonna work. Seriously. Giddy up, horsey. Giddy up, Grimlock. That's not gonna work. It's just... No.